Next question.
Bart?
Yes.
Several
Hey, how
peop-
you doing, Sharon?
Good, thank you. Several people believe that Roz Baker's website is not being totally truthful. I'd really like to hear your opinion on that.
Are you referring to the hospital one?
Yes.
Okay, if no one's been to Roz Baker's website in the last few days, there's a huge icon on her homepage that is entitled Get the Real Story on the Hospitals. Something like that. Well, if I could please, I'd like to read something that is an excerpt of it. I'm not trying to take it out of context. I know many were disappointed when Triad, Malilani's financial partner, was bought out by Community Health in spring of 2007, putting dreams for a South Maui hospital on hold. It was especially disappointing since we were, through Healthcare Association of Hawaii, facilitating discussions between Maui Memorial and Malilani, looking for that public-private partnership and a win-win. That win-win was for our community. However, something positive did result from this effort, and it's helped to focus on the public's attention to Maui's healthcare needs and the challenges that must be overcome in order to fulfill our community's dreams. Sorry. First, the senator citing that a buyout of Triad was the cause of putting dreams for South Maui Hospital on hold is the farthest thing from the truth. SHPTA killed the final appeal for the Certificate of Need application in an Oahu hearing room some time ago. I was there with Dr. Kwan, Jan Shields, and Mayor Alan Arakawa, and about 50 others who flew on their own dime to witness the final sword into the project. Does Miss Baker think that people in their 40s or 50s have short-term memory loss? Wow. Does Miss Baker think that we are that stupid or gullible to swallow this load of, well, you know what? Whether Malilani died because it was a bad business plan or Maui's gall to ask for the permission to build a new hospital, it was ultimately killed with the coordination of SHPTA and Hawaii healthcare systems agreeing that competition of a second hospital 3 years down the pike was reason enough to deny the con application, that being the Certificate of Need. You can't spin facts, Sharon, no matter how hard you try. Let the spin doctor make a pledge. If the con gets denied for a West Maui hospital, she will resign. If she's behind a West Maui hospital, she will supposedly fall on her sword that she supposedly wields for better health care. I'm personally so sick of her merry-go-round excuses, but what really gets me is her answer or demands from her constituents to solving any of public safety problem is, let's form a task force. We know a task force keeps people busy, which ultimately makes people forget why or what prompted the task force creation. And that being that Ms. Baker is not doing her job or having solutions to these glaring problems. She was elected to do and answer to who is really her boss, that being the taxpayers of District 5. Sharon, there's a great Eddie Murphy movie called Distinguished Gentleman, where Murphy plays a con man who realized that he could be elected to Congress simply because he has the exact same name of a long-standing but recently deceased incumbent. He wins and goes to Congress on name recognition alone. That's why I'm worried about the primary. Because it's the name you know. Roz Baker. Well, Bart Mulvihill is a different name to remember when you go to the polls. It's a lot different than Roz Baker. It's Bart Mulvihill. Well, anyway, Eddie Murphy goes to Congress on name recognition alone. And then he finds a real political and dirty world, Sharon, of you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. I know there must be some favors our senator, while heading the Ways and Means Committee, is owed to our senator. When are we going to get those favors back? When is somebody to scratch her back? I don't think she's asking for those favors to be returned. I don't know if she has the gumption to get those favors returned. Does she have the political markers that we need? Or has she been saving them up for 12 years? Why do we have to wait another 12 years to see if those favors will come back in kind? I wonder. Sharon, only Miss Baker, if she's reelected, will be able to choose what markers she's going to call in. Both Miss Shields and I were mighty happy doing what we were doing 4 years ago. But when we both realized there was a fox in the henhouse, you need to do what my dad used to say. Sometimes, if you want a job done right, you have to do it yourself. Well, I'm not going to get fired going after Miss Baker's job. But I'll tell you one thing. You're going to rehire me in 4 years if you give me the chance. Re-election is a privilege. It's not something that should be expected. If you're going to give your vote to anybody, look at who can get the job done. But more importantly, look who hasn't gotten the job done. Her name is Senator Baker, and she should return to the private sector. I'm sorry, Miss Baker, but it's time for a real mover and shaker to take your job to the next level. Aloha.